Hi, welcome back to my channel. You're talking to the Zen Fortune Cookie, talking to Marcus, and I've taken delivery of a new deck of cards, so I thought I'd open them up fresh. They arrived in this nice sturdy little box, covered in bubble wrap. Didn't even take much damage, to be fair. I ripped the label off, but that's it. And inside the package we have some bubble wrap. We have a fairly solid box. And we have a couple of little things that came with it. So let's have a look at these. I've got a sticker here. This looks like a Photoshop sticker, if I'm honest with you, but it's obviously Photoshop art. And I've got that one. And a card. Dear Marcus, thanks so much for your order. Hope you enjoy the deck and find magic in the cards. Ray Serafina Barker, Life and Grief Coaching, Art and Oracle. So there you go. I got that on, he's obviously got his Instagram there. I actually got this off Etsy. It's quite a big business card. Nice box, nice and sturdy. Shame it doesn't have little finger things cut out. Very handy tool. I did open it, so I think I've got it upside down here. Yeah, I do have it upside down. Oops. Let's pop that back in place. Boom, 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 boom. Right. So the little box, there's a little thing on the back here. It says, welcome to the wordless place. May these cards invite you into the magic of stillness, the power of quiet, and the mysteries of your inner world. May they support you in seeing deeply, knowing intuitively, and uncovering the treasures within. May they open possibility, spark curiosity, and connect you with reality. May your journeying through the wordless space invite you to participate even more deeply in the magic that's always belonged to you. So, the appeal is the lack of words, obviously. The reason why I like the idea of not having words is because I used to play music, and I used to have a band, and I used to write a lot of lyrics, and then I decided one day that I just liked not having the lyrics because they made things, how do I say this? They can sometimes make things too complicated, so I decided to just play instrumental music, so I became an instrumentalist. But I think there's a place and time for everything, and that's all. So this appealed to me in that way. So let's remove them. They're quite tightly packed in that binder, but they're actually quite loose in the box. So interesting. You can see they're nicely gilded. Let me get some spark on there. Ooh, look at that. And that's the back of them, which seems like a placid picture of a lake. They come with a guidebook. I kind of wasn't expecting a guidebook. I'll tell you why. But all the pictures have symbols and motifs are written out in here. It's not entirely wordless then, is it? So there's the introduction, how he just started on the idea, how to work with the deck. The card symbols and motives. And okay, so rather than including card meanings, I've opted to share some thoughts, questions, and blessings around the motives. Okay. None of this is meant to be any final or definitive interpretation. Rather, these are simply my own thoughts and ideas that I offer as a jumping off point to catalyze your own explorations. Above all, I encourage you to cultivate your own relationship with the symbols, motives, and meanings that you see, exploring what they offer and mean to you. Okay, it's got some seasons here and all sorts. Seems like every picture's got sort of a a name to it. So let's have a look. Now, obviously, I can't name them. Card quality is not bad either. I like that. They're all matte, by the way. So if they look a bit glossy, they're not. They're kind of matte-y. They've got a little sheen to them. As you can see, if I tilt them a little bit, yeah, there you go. You can see the sheen. But it's not a heavy sheen. It's very matte-y. It's not plasticky at all. Is that 2 cards? Yes, it is. I like that. He uses a lot of that in his stuff. Oh, I like that. They're very arty, and they're obviously quite photoshopped. They seem to be very much for the feminine, or directed at the feminine. I haven't seen any males in these. Something I must say is I kind of, as a male that's into this type of stuff, I kind of miss the representation of males. And even sometimes in decks I find that males are sort of represented almost negatively, and I find that a little bit annoying because there's a lot of emphasis placed on the divine feminine. Now, I might be a divine feminine myself, or well integrated as it were, but yeah, sometimes I feel there's a little bit of a lack of representation of the masculine in some ways. Positive representation. Now, I may be wrong. And in tarot, there's a lot of representation. But in the indie market, I notice there's a lot of representation of like witches and things like that. And I don't see a lot of like wizards or soothsayers. You know, we exist. We do exist. We just don't talk a lot. I'm kind of into my Taoism and stuff like that, so these stick together. Quite hard to get apart, actually. Yeah, there we go. Basically, it's now me just yabbing to yab. I like that. It's very nice. Beautiful pictures, I have to admit. They're very beautiful pictures. Interpretation is, you know what? I think it's something that's going to come out in time. I am seeing like a lot of moons and symbology in that way, planets. I mean, that so reminds me of the Radiant Wilds Tarot, one of the cards in there. I can't remember which one. Oh, here we go. I'm battling to get these apart. Probably should have bent them a little bit before I started this. That's beautiful, isn't it? It's like deep sorrow. It's like deep sorrow. So you can see what I say about there's a massive representation of feminine on here. And I find that in so many decks I buy. I might have to create one for myself. I like that. That reminds me of an auditorium that I used to have in my school when I was a child, well, kid. I went to a school called Serafina, and they had this massive Greek-style auditorium that we used to be able to do our assemblies in. like that. But then again, I like music. Just going to bend these a little bit. I think this is the kind of deck that you have to familiarize yourself with, and then you do a few readings and see what comes out in your intuition. I mean, even with a booklet, it's not a booklet I'd want to be, the idea of me purchasing this is not to refer back to the booklet too much, you know. These are great photos, great idea, great concept as well, I must admit. Oh, let me put that straight again. I've been bumping it. I like that. Reminds me of the Kalahari. I will say this, there's quite a lot of love and romance coming through on these, because I see there's a lot of joining of two people on a path type of thing. So they're nice in that way. And I love the artwork. I think it's great. I think it's a great concept as well. I mean, I do really like the concept. It's nice to have some trigger words, but sometimes trigger words are just too obvious. And this is where this deck, to me, like spoke. I was like, yeah, definitely. And I mean, look, you can't really go wrong with pictures like that. Anyway, I hope that was enlightening. Put your comments in the comments for me. That would be interesting to hear what you think of them. And enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.